icon. This is WNEM TV5 News at 6.
Feet. You could tell from the wounds that this little guy wasn't attacked by another animal.
A cat is recovering tonight after being abused and left out in the cold.
The cat's injury so severe that a vet had to surgically remove its eyes. Thanks to the kindness of a local couple and that vet, the cat is expected to survive.
We must warn you, some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing. TV5's Andrew Keller is live in Saginaw with more on this tragic story. Drew.
Well, the good news is the cat is doing just fine tonight at this veterinary clinic, but of course that's a far cry from the condition it was in just last Friday when a Bangor Township couple found the cat literally frozen to their porch and beaten severely with injuries so bad. Ace, as the cat has been named, had to have both of his eyes surgically removed. Now tonight, investigators with the Bay County Animal Control Office are searching for who did this. This is Ace. He's in good spirits tonight, and Dr. Tina Roggenbeck with the Veterinary Health Services took Ace under her wings and had to perform the surgery. She says that there's little doubt that the injuries were inflicted on the cat by a person, which she says is absolutely terrifying to think about.
If you take a step back, typically serial killers, people that abuse children and other humans start out with animals. And I think that's something that we really all need to step back, take a look at, and understand.
Now, Ace is expected to recover. He, of course, will be blind for the rest of his life. Now, Dr. Roggenbeck, she was able to put together a $750 reward for the prosecution of the person who did this, and today the United States Humane Society announced that they will also pitch in some money, up to $5,000, to find the person who did this harm to this cat named Ace. For now, live and local in Saginaw Township, Andrew Keller, WNEM-TV5.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking. Thank you, Drew. Now, if you have any information on this case, you can call the Bay County Animal Control Office. Here's their number, 989-894-0670. We will have more on this story coming up tonight at 11, and you will hear from the U.S. Humane Society about why they're offering such a substantial reward for information in this case.
Well, a clear night settling in across mid-Michigan tonight, slightly cooler than the one we saw yesterday. Not many temperatures reached the 30s like yesterday, so what can we expect heading into your weekend? Meteorologist Brian Bachman joins us now with those answers. Hi, Brian.
Hi there, David. Good evening, everyone. We're going to reverse that trend once again over the next 24 hours, but not before at least some of us tonight see at least a pretty chilly evening and becoming very chilly very quickly. In fact, you can see this band of clearing skies as a small zone of high pressure settles down from northern parts of Canada tonight, briefly, albeit it'll at least briefly kind of push some of that colder air into the region before the clouds kind of reassert themselves and push the temperatures back up. And it's just going to keep climbing as we head into tomorrow. As for our temperatures as they stand right now, you can see that dividing line thanks to the cloud coverage. 17 now in Saginaw, 19 in Flint. Lower teens starting to pop up across much of the thumb and to the north around Escoda and Houghton Lake, though some 20s hanging on around areas like Mount Pleasant and Alma. But take a look at what's, at least a part of it anyway, headed our way for the weekend. Some middle 50s you see there to our south and west. And yes, this milder air mass is going to take a run at the mid-Michigan region. Not sure if 50s are in our future, but I think a slight chance at a 40-degree reading or two for tomorrow. Not entirely out of the question. So it's a 50-50 split depending on where the clouds wind up this evening, but then a warming weekend, which I'll have all the details on coming up in about 10 minutes.
I just couldn't believe it was happening here in Harrison. Small town. I've been here all my life.
A small community shaken up after a man and woman found shot to death in their home. The police say the public is not at risk, but the case is still under investigation. WNEM-TV5's James Felton has more on how this small town is reacting.
I saw the cop car there and the yellow tape, and I thought, what happened?
Nancy Austin describing the scene early this morning, just a couple of doors down from her home on Lapham Drive. That's where two bodies were found inside this house. The Clare County Sheriff's Department says a 65-year-old man and a 45-year-old female died from gunshot wounds, surprising this quiet neighborhood just north of Harrison.
I'm shocked at what happened.
Police are calling this an isolated incident, putting some here in this neighborhood at ease.
It does. It definitely does. Like I said, we have a friend's daughter in the car that lives a few houses down, and that was her first concern because the kids had a half day of school, and she didn't want her going home to a house if there was, possibly someone on the loose.
Daniel Lindsay is having a tough time coming to grips with what occurred here.
It's hard. It's a hit for the community. Something like this doesn't happen very often.
Meanwhile, Austin, who is the Hayes Township clerk, tells us there's a sense of loss as two of her fellow residents are mourned by their loved ones tonight.
Sorry to hear that's happened, and I don't know. God bless the family.
Reporting in Clare County, James Felton, WNEM TV5.
Now, police are not releasing a lot of details, only saying the incident is still under investigation. We will bring you any updates as they come into the continuous news center.
New at 6, police say they've arrested a man that has been wanted for months. Flint police say U.S. Marshals in Arizona arrested Keontae Sadler yesterday. Sadler, the man there on the left, was wanted in the death of 36-year-old Gregory Hodu in May of last year. His brother, Marquel Sadler, turned himself into police back in August for his role in that same murder. They are both facing first-degree murder charges along with multiple felony gun charges.
And police have busted a meth lab and arrested 3 people in connection with it. It happened last night on the south side of Flint. Police say 2 women and 1 man were arrested and taken to jail after police found the meth lab. A task force cleared the home this morning, and investigators say 6 people in all could face charges.
A neighborhood crime alert for you now. Teenage vandals are hitting mid-Michigan neighborhoods. They're getting into cars and, in one instance, a vacant home. WNEM-TV5's Craig McMorris visited the area where the teen struck.
The citizens are getting upset, and quite frankly, I'm getting upset. So we are ramping up our efforts.
Bay City Public Safety Director Michael Cicchini wants to catch some teenage criminals. He says since November, there have been upwards of 40 incidents where the teens have targeted unlocked vehicles. They've been working the east side of the city in a historic district. The 4 or 5 thieves at a time rifle through vehicles and take anything of value, usually money or electronics.
The citizens out there have to keep in mind that when it comes to automobiles and property, lock your cars and keep valuables, take them inside your house or put them in your trunk, out of sight, out of mind.
And this crime situation has folks in the area concerned. We talked with people in Bay City about it.
Patrols, I don't even know what our police force is like, if they do a lot of patrolling, but more patrols.
Well, it's a sad thing that they have to do that. Evidently, they have way too much time on their hands. And they're not, maybe upbringing has played a part in this whole thing.
Cicchini promises that it's only a matter of time before his officers lay the cuffs on the criminals.
So we did an action plan in the 1st of December, and we're ramping that up because our goal is to put an end to this and bring those suspects to justice.
Reporting from Bay City, Craig McMorris, WNEM-TV5.
Police ask if you know anything about these thefts to give them a call, or you can contact Crime Stoppers.
Water woes continue to plague the city of Flint, and they are taking steps to address a growing number of complaints. The city is looking to hire a consultant who will give them advice on how best to treat the city's water.
The same water that has drawn complaints over its smell, taste, and the contaminants. WNEM-TV5's Gino Vici reports.
It's just really harmful for all of us to go through this situation, and they're not taking care of the water situation problem, period.
These Flint residents say they've just about had it with the lack of city services. Emma Wilson says, is it too much to ask for clean water?
I never experienced anything like this before.
Since switching its water supply from the Detroit River to the Flint River, residents have complained the drinking water smells bad, it tastes funny, and even comes out not looking very clean.
I don't drink it because sometimes when I run it, I would see brown, and I let it run for a while and then it would clear up, so that's alarming.
The I-Team looked into residents' complaints earlier this year and tested drinking water throughout mid-Michigan, and specifically in Flint. The results showed very little fluoride in Flint's drinking water and showed higher than normal levels of sulfates, but not at dangerous levels. Just last week, the State Department of Environmental Quality found the city in violation of federal standards for excess trilomethane, or THM. The city sent out notices to residents warning children, seniors, and those with weak immune systems to seek medical advice before drinking Flint's water, but at the same time saying that the water was safe to drink. For some residents, they say they're not so sure.
Well, I think that if you say that seniors and children shouldn't drink it, then there's a reason why.
It's horrible. If it ain't one thing, it's another.
Again, the I-Team will retest Flint's drinking water. Those results are expected next week. Reporting in Flint, Gino Vici, WNEM-TV5.
And as soon as we get the results of those water tests, we of course will pass them right along to you.
Well, for years, Michigan Congressman Dan Kildee has been calling for a Flint man's release from an Iranian prison.
Still ahead, what he will do during the president's State of the Union address to bring attention to this mission.
And when it comes to winter, you have to take the good with the bad. Coming up, where you can enjoy a free ice skate this weekend.
And U of M Flint makes a major announcement. Those details next.
You are watching WNEM-TV5 News at 6, serving Clio, St. Charles, Pigeon, and your hometown too.
It is coverage you can count on.